I've been asked by the Stewardship Committee to illustrate where the money from our building fund comes from and where it goes to each year. We have about $424,000 in our building fund this year. Last year and previous years it was always in the $600,000 range, but because we only had $425,000 committed last year, we decided that was the budget. Well, of that $425,000, about $300,000 is already pre-committed to pay our loan to Service First. We've got about just a little over $1 million left on that loan, so we should be paying it off in the next 2 or 3 years. After that, we've got about $60,000 that we use for clergy housing since we don't have parsonages anymore. We pay their housing allowance. And after that, we have a certain amount of money that we've committed to capital improvements and also to major repairs. Now, because our building fund was reduced this year, the major repairs line was reduced from about $100,000 down to $14,000. Well, in 2021, we've already surpassed that because we've been averaging on the order of about $100,000 a year in major repairs anyway. We have approximately $20 to $24 million worth of property here with First United Methodist Church. And if you go look at estimates for what it costs to keep a facility and a campus running, you're talking on the order of 2 to 4%. And even if you were on the low end, a 2% estimate for a $20 million piece of property is on the order of $400,000 worth of maintenance a year. We've been spending anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000, and some of these big ticket items are kind of catching up on us. The building hasn't been painted but one time since 2001. Well, we've got several heating and air conditioning units that are really kind of on the end of their life. The other items that come into routine maintenance and repairs for our building, we used to have about $100,000 that came from the annual ministry budget. That was reduced this past year because of the reduced annual ministry budget to about $67,000. But again, we're probably going to overspend that this year because of just historically we spend about on the order of $90,000 to $100,000 on routine maintenance and repairs. The other item that goes into facilities maintenance, we have a capital improvement escrow fund that we decided a few years ago to put a little money out of our building fund into that, so when we have major repairs, we would actually have some cash on hand and we wouldn't have to go get a loan to do those major repairs. We only have about $40,000 that comes out of the building fund each year to go into that capital improvements fund. Escrow fund. And now we've actually supplemented that from the Great Heritage, Great Future fund that contributions have come in the last few years, and that's helped pay some of the major bills that we've had. We've been given a beautiful piece of property. It's probably one of the prettiest churches in the entire city. If you don't believe me, come down here any day of the week and watch people take photographs all around our church. So I think it's incumbent upon our congregation to take care of the beautiful facilities that we've been given. As our building funds have dropped off the last 2 or 3 years, I want people to remember that when you're making your contributions and your pledges for next year, don't forget the building fund and think about some of the major repairs that we've got that are needed for our church. And let's stop, we don't want to kick the can down the road on some of these repairs. So I hope everybody will consider that. My name is Steve Cragen, and that was a breakdown of our building fund and where those funds are allocated during each year. Thank you.